y'all, welcome back to my channel, baby boo. I'm back with another video just for you. Today I will be doing a story time on how I failed my driving test 3 times. Just kidding. Today I'll be doing a driving test on how I failed my test 3 times, baby girl. 3 times. But listen, it's not me, it's them. I could drive. That's why I'm driving. I was playing. Girl, so I don't even know where to begin. Girl, boy, whoever is watching, let me tell you. So, baby, the first time, I'm gonna give y'all a story time and then some tips on, how to body your road test. Anyways, the first time I went, I was confident, but at the same time, I was still like skeptical of my driving. Like, I'm like confident, like, all right, like I got this, but at the same time, I feel like a little bit I was winging it because I didn't know everything that I know now. So looking back, it was like, damn, you winged the hell out of that, So girl, the first time I scheduled my appointment, whatever, blase. I call up this driving school to let me use their car because I used to go to driving school since I was 16 years old, girl. And I'm now getting my license at, 20 I got it? Yeah. So I've been going to driving school since I was 16, but let me pause you right there. I went to driving school when I was 16 for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, because the instructor will always say he's picking me up, be late, then cancel my appointments because he has to watch his grandkids or whatever. Like, he always had a lame ass excuse of why he couldn't pick me up or come, do his job, teach me how to drive. So the sun is hitting weird, so if I look like I'm shadowed here and then not, it's the sun. Anyways, boom. Yeah, so he always had a lame excuse. And then one day I'm over here, he's like, oh, meet me at the CVS, I'm gonna pick you up, we're gonna go. I'm standing there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I guess he's running late, let me call him. I call him, I'm like, hey, I'm at the CVS, like, where you at? Da-da-da. Mind you, it's cold, it's winter, I think. Is it winter? It's cold, I don't even know. It's like probably that springtime. No, what am I talking about? When it's fall going on to winter and it's cold, yeah, like that. So I'm like, yeah, all right, no. My school is really close to the CVS, so that's why he said meet him there. So I'm here after school, I'm hungry, you'd be hungry after school. I'm like, yeah, no, like, I'm waiting. He ain't coming. Like, what's up? Where you at? Call him again. I'm not gonna be ringing your phone down every 1, 2, 3. So anyways, I sent him a text like, I'm going home, it's cold, I've been waiting for you, like, you could have at least canceled. So I get home and I tell my mom, like, I was waiting there. She was like, oh, why are you home? Like, y'all drove already? I'm like, no, I was waiting there. He didn't show up. I kept calling him and texting him and he didn't respond. So she was like, no, freak that, because you have me standing at a store, like, people coming in and out, like, when people be standing somewhere, just like looking, and that, like, that comes off as like, somebody could have thought I was prostituting or something, not to be like, but you have me at a corner waiting at a store for you, and I'm a young girl over here, people driving by, da-da-da. No, that's not okay. So my mom was tight. So boom, 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 we like, yeah, no, like, that's a dub, because you could have at least canceled. You could have had the courtesy of telling me that like you always do, that you got to do this or that, so you can't come. Anyways, time and money wasted, like, bro. So what got me really mad, what made me not want to go back with him, because I'm like, mom, like, yeah, he messed up, but if whatever, like, stuff happened, that was my mindset, like, stuff happened. So I have the stuff happen mindset, like, once he reaches out and he says what happened, like, whatever, we can work it out. But when he reached out, he was like, oh, I didn't get no text, no call, no nothing. Yeah, no, like, I didn't know if you were gonna show up for the appointment because you didn't call or text. First of all, you said meet you at a location, you should have been there. Second of all, sir, I called you and texted you 1,000,000 times. Don't make up a lame excuse for your mistake. Own up to your mistakes, okay? That's what pissed me off, because you could have owned up to it and you could have been honest, but you try to flip the script like, oh, I didn't show up because I didn't know if you were gonna show up, type of thing, which is lame to me. Like, that was hella bogus, you feel me? So I stopped going with him. So at that point, my mom doesn't know how to drive and my dad doesn't live here. So anyways, that's a whole whatever. I didn't have, I just didn't have any lessons, like driving lessons at that point, because at that point I was just like, whatever to him. And it was just like money that was like went down the drain or whatever. So, and driving school is expensive, so I'm like, I don't even want to pour money like that into somebody else right now. So I was chilling or whatever. 17 come, 18 come, I'm back in driving school at like 19. I don't know. Yeah. Well, listen though, 17 come, right? Because that happened when I was 16. 17 comes, and I'm with my little boo thing or whatever, my little boyfriend, and he get his little license or whatever. So, and he knew how to drive, he just didn't have a license. So he gets his license, and I'm like, all right. So he's teaching me how to drive now, like, little lessons here and there. I'm watching him drive. He teaching me the little rules, not really the rules of the road, but how to drive, for real, how to operate a car. So he's doing that with me. Thank you to him. I really do appreciate him, and I know he's gonna watch my videos, so I really do appreciate what you did for me. And this is gonna be on my YouTube, so it's gonna be here forever. I will always and forever appreciate what you did for me and how you taught me how to drive, because it's something you need to know in life. So thanks, I love you for that. I mean, I love you in general, but I really do appreciate that. There we go. So yeah, my little boo thing teach me how to drive, but we're not like doing hella consistent lessons to where I can just like get it like that. So it's like, oh, we link up, he teach me how to drive. We chill, we link up, teach me how to drive. Chill. Another link up, he teaching me how to drive. So not every chill time we chilling together, we driving, you know what I mean? So whenever we got it in, we got it in. So yeah, so boom, 17, 18, we doing that. 19 comes, and it's like, all right, I've been, doing my little lessons with you or whatever. I start going to a driving school again too, because sometimes he would just get on my nerve. Like, he would just, baby. Because I don't know, like, he was good, we was good, but he's a good instructor, but sometimes he would just be like, girl. So like, sometimes you just, when you doing it with somebody that's like, your partner or whatever, he's saying this, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm confused. Like, how do I parallel park? He is not an instructor, so he's not gonna have all the answers that, like, he's not gonna understand everything. When I'm like, oh my god, like, the wheel is all the way over here, I don't even know where the wheel is at, so I don't know how I'm doing this, like, I don't know nothing, you know what I mean? So somebody's like walking up to the car, so I'm looking, because I'm always watching my surroundings. But anyways, that happened. So that happens where he's teaching me how to drive or whatever, and then I'm just like, yeah, but I also need like a real instructor, like somebody who knows. So I start going to driving school again, and that was really good. I would recommend that driving school to anybody. They did good. We did my lessons. The lady was like, tough love like that. She was like, oh, do you want this for real? Because you need to start acting like it. Like, she had a little sass or whatever, but it did the job, you feel me? So whatever, boom, now it's like road test time, baby. So my first road test, I just gave you the history of what the hell I knew about driving. I did lessons probably twice a month with my boyfriend, like, because like every time we chill, we're not driving. So, and then I did like 6 lessons with a driving school, but it was like, every 2 weeks or something. Like, I would do a lesson a week, so if that makes sense. So whatever, I got a little bit of a background, like, I could do what to do, but I don't know how to do to really be on the road by myself. So freaking road test comes, and I'm all jittery because it's my first time. I'm like, oh my god, like, I need to know how to flick my blinkers and turn on this light and that light and brake and honk my horn and so I'm learning all the interior stuff to the car or whatever. I got that piece done or whatever. We in a car now. He's like, oh, do your left blinker, your right blinker, click, 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 honk your horn, press your brake. He didn't even make me do all that for real, but I was ready to. So whatever, he gets in the car. He's like, oh, okay, we could proceed when you're ready to proceed. If you're ready, let's go. So I'm like, okay, baby, boom, I'm ready. We could go, we could get it, we could do it. So there we go. So my instructor, because like I said, I went with a driving school, so he was like, oh, the boy before you just failed the test because he went past a white line. And I'm like, he went past a white line? Okay, thank you for telling me, because Sierra ain't gonna do that. So boom, I pull up, I'm driving, I'm doing fine or whatever. Then I get to a white line, and I'm like, baby, that's the white line. That's the line. That's the line that he is talking about, and Sierra is not going past the line. So the white line come, and I stop at the white line, and then the damn instructor dude was like, what are you doing? Why did you stop the car in the middle of the road? And I'm just like, baby, this man didn't just told me the boy before me failed because he didn't stop at the white line. Like, what happened? So I'm like, oh, I was just stopping to show you, because it is like a crosswalk thing where people can walk. So I was like, I was just stopping to show you that if, you know, pedestrians are walking, that I would stop. But he was like, but there's no pedestrians, so you don't gotta stop. You just stop your car in the middle of the road for no reason. And I'm like, oh, I just thought I would have to demonstrate, you know, because I'm a quick thinker like that, so I can't. But that's really what I was doing. But at the same time, that's really not what I was doing. I was just doing that because the man told me that the boy before me failed for not stopping. But I guess there was somebody walking and he didn't stop, so that was the difference between us two. So you know, you know how dramatic they be. You just stopped the car in the middle of the road. Oh my god. Da-da. So whatever. I'm like, all right, great, whatever. So I need to do my 3-point turn down in my parallel park. So baby, I did my 3-point turn. One thing for sure, two things for certain, I always have my 3-point turn down, because 3-point turn is not that hard. That is like the easiest thing to do. Like boom, 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 boom. You feel me? It's like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. But that parallel parking though, okay. So I'm doing my parallel parking. I'm feeling good about it. Like my drive is going so well. I'm feeling so good about it. But then, baby, I kept turning the wheel, and I onto the damn curb. But my parallel, I was in the spot, and usually that's not something that happens. So I'm in the spot, but I hit the curb, and I'm like, oh shit. Because when I was like, ooh, I'm dramatic. So I hit the curb, and I was like, ooh. And I was like, and then he was like, because he didn't say nothing, but if I didn't react like that, talking about some, ooh, I probably would have passed my test. Like, oh my god, ain't nobody told me to react like that. So that happened, and then we got back. He was like, yeah, Jai, instructing me back to the R&V. We got there, and he was like, yeah, sweetie, you said okay, but you still gotta practice. So, you know, just practice and come back. And I'm just like, really? 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 Practice and come back? Baby. I thought we had a good drive. What's up? Anyways, the story's kind of long the way I just said it, but that was like a little 5-minute drive. Most of the road tests consist of 5 to 10 minutes, honestly. It's a short thing, you know, but when it's your first time, you're nervous. So that was my first time. My second time, I'm like, all right. See, the first time I went home, I was not upset about it because I really thought I did a good job. I was like, all right, I just messed up on these 2 things. Like, I could practice that. I really thought I was going to do worse. Well, I didn't know if I was going to do worse or better, but I didn't think I was going to do that good because I did good. I was whipping it, baby. I was like, okay. So I wasn't upset about it. I was like, I'm going to practice or whatever. So, boom. Second time comes around, I practice some more. Like, not really. Like, I practice the same amount that I would. Like, when I say link up, practice. Lesson, practice. But it's like every so often, you know? So my second time comes around, and I'm like, all right, I got these. So I show up, and I'm ready to, you know, do. And I get in the car. It's a Hispanic lady. She's young, like. So I'm like, all right, this should, you know, like, she's young. So, and she's not looking rude. She's type nice. So get in the car, and this time it's COVID. Like, this test I took during COVID, so they didn't let you bring your own car. You had to drive a car from the R&V because at that time they were providing you with cars that they were cleaning themselves. So I get in the car. I don't know nothing about this car because it's not even a regular car. It's like I don't even know what you call them cars. I will probably insert a picture so you can see, but the inside is very much different. Most cars have the blinkers and everything at the side of the wheel, but this car had it on the bottom. So I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't know where the headlights are at, because it's usually right near the steering wheel, but that one was on the bottom for some reason. It was weird. So she go, didn't I give you a paper with the gadgets of the car and where everything is? And I'm like, no, I didn't get that paper, ma'am. She was like, all right, well, I'm gonna give you two minutes to figure it out. I don't know the car. I didn't get the paper. maybe you should give me the paper. But I'm in the car and she's like, figure it out. So I'm like, oh, but I've been watching a million YouTube videos before my road test. And I remember this Mr. Sir said, ooh, if it's not by the steering wheel, it's going to be on the bottom. So I said, ooh, I took a look and I turned that boy on and she said, good job. And I was like, yes, ma'am. So we got in, put my seatbelt on. She's like, all right, let's go. Driving. Not doing bad at all. But then, you know, it comes time to do my parallel park and my 3-point turn. You know, I said I do that 3-point turn. I finesse it every time. So I finessed it every single time. But it's time to do my parallel parking. And this time I did the worst on my parallel parking, like the worst. So boom, we pull up, but I'm already too far from the car. So I'm like, I pull up and we too far from the car. So I'm like,
Too far from the car.
I'm too far from the car that you got to drive up next to. I'm like over here and I'm like, all right, let me back up a little bit and then drive closer to the car because you need to be like 2 feet away from the car. So I did that and she was like, okay, so I'm like doing my parallel park. I'm like I'm sitting there like done. She's like, oh sweetie, you gotta get closer to the curb. So I'm like, how you do that? They just taught me left, right. Baby, I done did left and I did it right and I did left again or whatever the hell. I'm done. You gotta get close to the curb. I'm like, how you do that? So I'm like, I'm done for real this time now, girlie. And she's like, okay, pull off and go. Drive back. We get there. She's like, okay, so you did she really had me. She was like, all right, like writing on her book. She's like, yeah, you did really, you did good, like da-da-da-da. But I just don't think you're ready to be on the road by yourself. She went on and on gassing me. Oh, you did this good, you did that good. Yeah, you did that. Like, yeah. But I don't think you're ready to be on the road by yourself. Why would you toot my horn, honk my horn, well, however that saying go, just to be like, but I don't think this or that. So that time that I got in a car, oh my god, that time it got to me, because the first time it was like whatever. The second time I actually like felt away. I was like, oh my god, like what's wrong? Why did I feel? But I wasn't mad, but like at the same time, you always play the blame game, where I was like, why would she do that? Like I parallel parked, but I wasn't close enough to the curb as I should have been. So I was low-key blaming her, low-key blaming myself. All together, I was feeling emotional. So I got back in the car and I just started crying like a damn baby. Like, ooh. I got home, I was trying to wipe my eyes, not act like it affected me. But I got upstairs into my apartment and I just started crying some more. And my mom was just like, it's okay, so yes, you're gonna have the highs and you're gonna have the lows. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. You can always go back, always practice some more. I don't want to sound like them, but I promise you, in the end, when you do pass your license test, you look back at it like, oh, I'm glad they didn't pass me, because there's so much that like if they would have passed me on the second time when I didn't park my car close enough to the curb, when it's time for you to be by yourself in the car and you don't know how to get close to the curb, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Because just now that I passed my test and I'm driving, I'm like, whew, well, I'm glad they didn't just give me my pass, because baby, I wouldn't have known how to park my car. What would I have done? So yeah, in the moment I was really mad about it, but looking back at it, you be like, yeah, they was right. I wasn't the best. They know what they talking about. So boom, that happened. Cried about it, whatever, got over it. I wasn't really feeling encouraged to continue driving or nothing. So that happens, and now comes the third time. So the third time I really thought was the time. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel the first time. The second time, I got this. Like, I've been practicing. I got this. Everybody's hyping me, this, that, and the third. Like, yes, ma'am, ham, ram, damn, I'm ready, right? So I show up. I'm in a car. I'm with my driving school instructor. He takes me on the lap, so I already know what the lap finna look like. So I thought. He was like, oh, they either go this way or this way. Well, let's go this way. So I'm like, okay, I'm driving. I'm killing it. Like, I know how to parallel park this time, and I know how to get closer to the curb, because I made sure I knew how to get closer to the curb this time. So I'm driving. He's like, parallel park. I'm like, Oh, he had a backup camera, but I didn't use it. I took a little glance, but I didn't use it because I knew, well, that was the test I was gonna take that was the car I was gonna take the test in, so I could have probably used the backup camera, but I'm like, just in case they say I can't, let me use my mirrors. So I used my mirrors, whipping the whip, did my parallel parking, did my 3-point turn, finessed, bodied, everything. He was like, yeah, you passing. Let's pull up back to the R&V and wait for him to come out here. So he come out, you know, I'm like, hi, good morning, da-da-da-da, my name is blah, 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 here's my papers, let's go, put my seatbelt on, I got my gloves on because it's COVID, I'm ready to drive. He's like, oh, you can take your gloves off, like, we're gonna clean the car anyway, so you don't need your gloves if it's gonna, like, you know, obstruct your driving. So I took my gloves off, I'm like, okay, thank you, and I'm driving. He's like, take a right. I'm like, okay, take a right. We didn't go where the old man just took me, my driving instructor dude. We didn't go that way. We went the other way where he said we could go this way or this way. We ended up going this way. So blase, blase, blase. I literally turned and so I'm pulling up to do my turn. So I'm pulling up and I stopped because I have the red light before I could turn right or whatever, or left because it wasn't a right, because then I wouldn't have, you know, failed. Anyways, that's essential to know. You can actually turn right on a red if it permits you to do so. But I was turning left on a red. I wasn't going to turn left on the red. I was pulling up, but the light was red, so I stopped. But, you know, I be driving like if I know how to drive. So I'm inching up my car on a red, so I could see to take my turn, you know, because most people will do that. But he's like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's a red light. Why are we moving? Da-da-da. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. This big tree is in my way and I can't see, so I gotta inch up the car so I can see when I'm turning. He's like, you don't need to see nothing right now. It's a red light. You don't need to see nothing. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, you right. Green come, turn the car into green. I'm driving. Oh my God, like, oh my God, he's so dramatic. So here's the yellow line, you know, right here. So I'm turning. You know, your car probably turned like this. It's on the yellow line a little bit, but you know, you merge, like you in traffic or whatever. So, oh my God, you're on the yellow line. I'm like, sir, I'm not on the yellow line, sir. I'm just, you know, I turned the car, so it might have turned a little bit, but I'm not on the yellow line. I'm relax. So I drive, and he's like, take the left here. I'll take another left. Look. Boom, take my left. He's like, park the car. I'm like, oh, park it? Oh, do you mean pull up next to that car and parallel park it? And he's like, park it. And I park it. And he's like, go in the back seat. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, they ain't never did this before. What's going on? He drives me back to the R&B. I'm like, what? He was like, oh, you was rolling on a red, and then you turned, and it looked like you were gonna have us hit into oncoming traffic. I'm sorry, but you failed. I was so pissed because that drive lasted 1 minute, and he was dramatic. Like, are you serious? So boom, I go back to the car. I'm heated. So I went there with y'all know Steph. So I went there with him, and you know, he's over here like, what happened? Like, the car, like you did the test? Because it was, you did the test? Like, I just done left the car and I'm already back. Like, you did the test? I'm like, no, I didn't do. I'm like, yeah, but then he kicked me out in like a minute. Like, what the hell? I'm about to call these people, get on the phone. He was like, let's just go back. Like, we're already here. Like, don't even bother getting on the phone with them. Like, let's just go to them. So I pull up. I'm like, I want to speak to a manager. He just did, And the security guard people, they're like, oh, is it like a chubby, tall guy? Like, is that the one you did the road test with? And I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's the one. And they're like, oh, yeah, he's rough. That's how he is. Like, he even be telling us what to do when we park in our cars. And they work there. Like, mind your business. You in my business? Don't do that. So, yeah, get the manager. He was like, I think he is the manager. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I don't care. Just get somebody up out here. Manager comes. I'm like, oh, well, he did this and he did that. He was talking to me crazy. He was like, oh, sit in the back seat, like, wilding out on me. So, no, I want to do the test. I want to do the test again, and I want to do it with somebody else. And they was like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that, but I'm going to talk to him about what happened. He's not a rude person. He don't never get rude compliments. Are you, rude comments? Are you dumb? Them 2 security guards just was telling me he be like that. So, what you talking about? What you talking about? And then I done see him come back. I seen him pull up, and I seen him fail the girl before me. I seen him fail the girl after me. So what's up? Like, is he having a bad day? Because if that's the case, then I want somebody else to do my test with. But you know what? I was going off, and then the manager was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we can't do that, but here's a number you can call so you don't have to pay for your test. Da, 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 da. I called that number. No, capped out. Like, stop paying me. So I had to end up paying for the test eventually in order to take another test. So I paid for that dumb test, but that time I was heated. I was pissed. Like, the first time I was like nonchalant, it didn't matter to me because it was like whatever. The second time I was emotional and I was like crying because I failed. And the third time I was angry. Like, stop playing with me at this point. Stop playing with me. Like, y'all just stealing my coins at this point. Like, stop playing. So boom, this comes the fourth time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm over this. I didn't tell nobody about my test. I'm just praying, and I've been praying all 3 times. I'm praying this time. I'm like, I'm just gonna go with God. If it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, then it's not, because I'm over it at this point. So I go. That morning I told my mom that I have driving school, but it was actually a driving test, road test. I pull up, the lady's like, okay, like, I think he's gonna take you this way. When you're here, you just turn there, you do da-da-da. That's the route that he's gonna take you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he pull up, and I'm like, no freaking way, this the man that failed. The third time just now that he pissed me off because he told me to get in the back seat, this and the third. I'm talking to his manager about him. I'm like, yeah, get the manager. I did all of that. Yeah, that's the man that's doing my road test today. I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna fail for a 4th time because look who it is that gotta take my test. But listen, I had braids at the time when I did all that extra stuff, you know. And this time I didn't have no braids. I had my real hair, and I had it in a bun. So I'm like, hopefully he don't recognize me because I have my real hair. Yeah, no, ma'am. I get in the car, I put my seatbelt on, I give him my papers. You know, he could look at the back and see that he failed me last time. He know his signature or whatever, so. But, you know, maybe he don't know that I was the girl that did all that extra rah-rah stuff. So I did my job or whatever. I'm doing the damn thing. So I do the whole test. I bodied, but at one point I parked my car, and then I put my e-brake up. So it was like, because when you park your car, you're supposed to put your e-brake up. So I put my e-brake up like, you see, I know what I'm doing, sir. And then I drove without putting the e-brake down. So the car was like beep, 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 because it'll beep to tell you to put the e-brake back down. So I put the e-brake down. No, so he was like, wait, so why is the car beeping? And I was like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know why it's beeping. Why is it beeping? So he's like, oh, look at your dash. And I look at my dash, and I was like, okay, I gotta put my brake down. So boom, we get back to the spot or whatever. He was like, oh, I failed you and whatever. And I was like, yeah, you did. And he was like, do you know why? And I was like, I guess you said I was going into the wrong lane, and we would have entered into oncoming traffic. So I guess that's why you failed me. Yeah, I'm sorry about that though. Because I'm trying to pass. Like, so I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry about that though. He was like, yeah, do you see what I was talking about? Was I right? I was like, yeah, you were right. Yup. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I guess I was having an off day. Like, I was literally like going off telling this man what he want to hear. And he was like, do you think you passed today? And I was like, I mean, I think I did a pretty good job. And he was like, you did a great job. You passed. And he put up my paper, and I was just like, I was like, yes, thank you. Took my paper, and I got up out of there. The lady at my driving school was like, did you pass? And I was like, yes, I did. And then all the other kids waiting in line was like, they looking at me like, yes, I pass. But I pray to God that y'all pass too, period. I was dumb hype. So I got on the phone. I didn't call my mother. I was like, I'm gonna go get a cake. So I went, I got a cake, came home, I got a cake saying I passed. Here's a picture right here. It was a cute little cake or whatever, and I was so happy. And then like a week later, I got my car. So, you know, God works in mysterious ways. You know, you might not pass on the first time, the second time, the third time, not even the 4th time, but keep the faith. You got this. And some tips I would give you guys on how to pass is definitely not to be nervous. When you're nervous, it makes you drive less confident, and you need to drive confidently when you're on the road, because people are just, you know, always in a rush, or they got road rage or something. So if you're like, I don't know what to do, like, it's not really the best situation to be in. But if you get into that car and you're like, you show them like, see, I know what I'm doing, this is what I do, like, I'm driving you, how it feel, like, they feel safe, you feel safe, we safe, like, you feel me? So then you pass. So just don't be nervous. That would be my first advice. My second advice would be definitely to know the rules of the road. Like, know that you have to, you know, how to switch lanes and not to, you know, switch from the right into the left. Like if you're like in the right lane and you're gonna turn, like possibly if you can, if there's, you know, broken white lines, switch over to the left lane so you can turn into the left and stuff like that. You know that you can turn on a red if you're turning right. But I would just wait on your road test. Don't do no professional driving stuff on your road test. You at a red light and you know you could turn red, just don't, because you know they might be like, why did you just turn on the red light? You know, you never know. It's kind of like when, you know, you're in English class. You're not going to use the slang that you would use, even though that's English slang, because your English teacher is going to be like, okay, that's incorrect. So it's like that. Just don't do it. You feel me? So that would be my second advice. And my third advice would definitely to be pray. Like, once you put God first, anything is possible. Because I kid you not, if I did not pray and if I didn't believe and if I didn't have faith, that man would have failed me. I promise you. Because the way I went off on him and talking to his manager, and then look at how the devil want to send him to do my test after I did all that. And I did my road test at my driving school this time. Like, I did it at a driving school. So why are you here at the driving school? You work at the DMV. But the DMV sends like some of their men sometimes to the do the test for the kids at the driving school. But it's like, why would y'all send him when he be at work all the time at the DMV? You feel me? But you see, that's just how life is. So keep prayed up, pray, and just remember, if you do not pass, no matter how many times you take it, it's just God preventing you from something that, you know. Ooh, it's a stray dog. I gotta be careful when I pull out. But it's just God preventing you from, you know, something. And that's the mindset I had. I was like, if I don't pass, then God's just saving me from the road right now. I'm not ready to be on the road. And you're never ready to be on the road, because anything could happen at any point, anytime. It's sometimes not even your fault. You know, it's like sometimes there's just bad drivers and mistakes happen. I don't want to say bad drivers, but mistakes happen. Sometimes, yes, bad drivers, like those drunk drivers and stuff like that, you're a bad driver. Dumb texters and drivers, you're a bad driver. I would never text and drive. I would never do nothing like that. So yeah, that's what I want to say. I just want to say, keep the faith, keep pushing, because you're gonna get it. That's my story. I went 3 to 4 times, and that's how much time it took for me to pass. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but you will get it done and you will succeed. So keep pushing, keep the faith. You got this today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And if you would like a car tour, comment down below, because I'm open to doing a car tour for you guys if that's something you guys want. But yeah, good luck on your test. I hope you pass. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, babes. Bye.